Gunline. Fire mission coming down. It's your host Lopez here from On the Gunline podcast, bringing you a hell of a good ride today. I hope you will enjoy this. It won't be going on as long as the motherfucking midweek memo did. And if it does, fuck it. 2 tears in a bucket. You'll love it. All right. So today on the Gunline, we have the man, the myth, the legend, the 5'1" man behind the gun, fucking Sergeant Patrick J. Juarez. I call him Patrick J because, well, we'll get into that in Baghdad. But anyways, we got Sergeant First Class Juarez here on his way out. And quick briefing on him. He was my chief when we were out in Baghdad in deployment December 05 to December 06. And he smoked me for no fucking reason one time. But we'll get into that story as well. And just a quick brief, anybody watching this on the YouTube, do me a quick favor. If you're new to the podcast, just hit a fucking subscribe, hit a like or unlike, or put a shitty comment, a death threat. I don't care. Just view it. Let's get some more motherfuckers up in this. Anyway, so go on and pop a squat because it's about to get high. You on the gun line now. Welcome to the gun line, Mr. Sergeant First Class Juarez. What's going on, man? How you doing?
What's going on, man? Hey, listen, I think I was scheduled already once. And we had to reschedule whatever, and you said the next opening, whatever, and I that's cool, man. I'm not special for nobody, so I'll wait my time. It's definitely an honor being on here. It's definitely different being on here than doing the interviews. Man, I'm fucking nervous, man. You know what I'm saying?
Be nervous, man. I mean, this was originally the platform that we were gonna do was me and you doing this. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But yeah, dude, I mean, somehow or another it went sideways, dude, because of, some personal things that came along. And maybe we'll discuss that later, see what happens with that. But yeah, man, for those that don't know you, the airborne mighty man that's over here, who is Patrick Juarez?
Man, it's a tough question, or a tough answer, I should say, but it's not really, man. Man, I'm just a simple guy, man. I joined the military for my family. Been doing it ever since for my family, and just keep going on, because of my family. That's pretty much who I'm from. Who I am. I'm from Amarillo, Texas, even though I don't claim it. But I do claim Texas, which is weird. Sometimes I don't. Been all over the place. Single dad, I got my kids with me. I'm a grandparent, about to retire from the military. I mean,
God damn. Hold up. You're a grandparent?
I am, man. I am.
Holy fuck. And because I know you're younger than me, but not by much. I mean, you're like, what, 36, 37?
I'm 38. I'll be 39 at the end of this year. And my kids, man, I'll tell you, my kids, that's probably the best decision I made, having them young. You know what I'm saying?
The typical Mexican stereotype.
Yeah, there you go. Had them young, and just freaking got that done and out of the way. That way, here I am. I'm about to retire. My youngest is 13. My grandbaby's a year and a half. All my kids, I only have 2 in school left. That's it.
Damn, knock them out of the way. Now you get to enjoy your fucking your 40s all to yourself.
Absolutely.
And hey, man, that is what's up. So what brought you into the military? You say it was your family. So I'm guessing you were a young dad out of high school.
Yeah. So I actually had I got another son that wasn't with my ex. And then my ex, she got pregnant. We got married, man. I was married in high school the last 6 months, or like right at Christmas time.
Right.
And I had to make a choice. And I think a lot of my life has been hard choices like this. And this is I think where it kind of started. I had to make a choice to give up or, keep going to school.
Right.
I didn't want to tell my kids to graduate high school, and I didn't graduate. So I kept going. I had to go tell the counselor, hey, what can I do to graduate? And still, I got to pay bills. I had my own apartment and everything, stuff like that. And they said, well, you only need a few more credits, take night classes. I was like, okay, cool. So I was working full day. I had an hour overtime every day. So I did 30 minutes before, 30 minutes after.
Okay.
Picked up my wife at the time, dropped her off at her parents, went to school, and did that for the last 6 months, man.
Hustle.
Yeah. So, but good news. I graduated with the scholarship, man.
No shit.
Yeah, I graduated with scholarship. I tried the school thing. I really wanted to do it,
Yeah.
but I didn't get no support. I didn't get no
Oh,
support from it. I was walking to college. I think I said this on my podcast. I was walking from my apartment to I was riding the bus with the short bus to college. Yeah, I was riding the short bus to college with a lot of the dischallenged people,
yeah.
and but it was fun. It wasn't no big deal, and I was walking like an hour and a half back to the house just to go to work, and pay the bills and stuff like that. So,
so yeah, it's been ingrained in you. At least you did the responsible thing and was there for your kids and your family. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So shit, was like the recruiting office on the way to school? I mean, how'd you end up going to the recruiters?
No, so that's crazy how that happened. The washing machine in our apartment didn't work, so we went to another building.
Yeah.
And we saw a recruiter. He wasn't in uniform or nothing, but he was backing up his BMW, combat parking. He was doing that, and he came in. I was like, man, I want a BMW too. He's like, oh, you do? I was like, yeah, I do. He's like, I got one for you. So pretty much that's how that happened. And joined the military. And then right before that, in the process, because I was bagging groceries,
yeah.
This guy had an airborne hat, Ranger and all that stuff. And I was like, hey, you jump out of planes? He's like, yeah. And, I was like, cool. And he kept coming in. I talked to him.
Yeah.
And so as soon as I said, the video, but I didn't pick that because of the video. I picked it because of the bonus. I was looking for the bonus.
Oh, no.
I had a family, so I made a choice for the fam.
What other options they give you?
14.
No, 14. What other options as far as like?
No, I had a whole bunch, man. I had a whole bunch, and surprisingly, I didn't know nothing about that. He pulled up. He said anything right here. So I'm looking at all the bonuses. It went from 6 to 8 to 12 to 14. I see the 14. I'm like, that one. And then I asked, hey, can I go airborne? He was like, yep. I was like, he was just like, yep.
Do you know what your recruiter's MOS was prior to getting in?
He was 13 Bravo also. Yeah.
Figured.
Yeah. Yep.
Good shit. So did he even have to play the video for you, or you were already sold on it?
He played it. My dad had told me, because I told him I was going to do it, and he didn't believe me. My dad it's not that he didn't believe me. It's just he did 4 years active duty, and then he did reserve National Guard.
Okay.
But he knows you ain't fully in until you swear in, and then you swear in again, and then you do that again, and then you take off. But he's like, hey, don't do combat arms. I didn't know nothing about that. I didn't pay attention, nothing. I saw that bonus. He's like, hey, what'd you do your job? I was like, field artillery. I told you not to do combat arms. I was like, whatever.
Shit, so let's see. So you ended up so on your way to basic training in Fort Sill, I'm guessing, right? OSA? Yeah. What year was that?
2001.
Oh, shit, 2001 in Fort Sill.
Yeah.
What battery were you in, you remember?
Man, Echo 122.
Echo 122, right on.
Yeah.
Damn. You remember who your drill sergeants were?
I do. I ran into one when I went to Fort Sill. He was a civilian. His name was Drill Sergeant Mert. I ran into another one when I was at Fort Lewis. He was the brigade sergeant major at the other ACRC unit that was in our building.
Yeah.
And then I ran the other one. I don't know where he's at or anything like that. But the crazy thing about that in basic training, man, we had 3 drill sergeants. Our senior drill sergeant was Drill Sergeant Williams, Staff Sergeant Mert, Drill Sergeant, and then the one that I met, Lohmeyer, at Fort Lewis. He was on the way out.
Okay.
So we only had him for like a month. Then that Williams became the senior, and then Mert was the one underneath him.
Damn.
I don't know what it was. They were fighting or whatever, and I didn't kind of put the puzzle pieces together until later.
Mm-hmm.
They were fighting or whatever, so we hardly ever had a drill sergeant around.
Oh shit.
Yeah, but we were the most disciplined platoon, going through basic training or whatever. Mm-hmm. And the other drill sergeants would always tell us, hey, y'all most disciplined, because we had some dirt bags in the other, other platoons.
Yeah, I bet. Wait a minute. So you went in what, early 2001 or late 2001?
Yeah, February 2001.
Oh shit! Great fucking Fort Sill winters.
Yeah.
Damn, man. That's what's up. Echo 122. I was in Delta 122, but way after in 2004. So any drill sergeants you had there were probably gone by then.
Yeah.
Because I remember in Echo 122, there was this one big ass black dude with a gold tooth, bro. That motherfucker was scary. Him, and then my old fucking first sergeant was there in Echo 122. His name was Amaral. So he was probably after your time there as well.
Yeah, probably.
Going to 2. But yeah, that's what's up. So, all right, bet. You did your 16 weeks. What you think of it? You thought field artillery is too easy?
No, man. So basic training, first couple weeks it was hard because I just didn't know what I was getting into, and I kind of wanted to quit, but I think everybody has that mental, break or whatever. Because I guess I just didn't know. I didn't research or anything like that. I was just one of those make the decision, and do it. But then that drill sergeant Williams, he was a black guy.
Yeah.
He had told me this, and it stuck with me the whole time. He said, "Man, I'm kind of disappointed in you because my bunk was the second one from his office."
Okay.
And my battle buddy, which was the first bunk, great guy, but he was just not. He was a 180 of what I was. Like my shit was squared away.
Give me 1 second, brother.
Yeah.
I don't mean to pump the brakes on this. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna have to pause the recording. Apparently,
Okay.
I had a mishap at the house. Give me about probably 1 to 2 minutes.
Yeah, no worries.
All right, get a bathroom break in. Ladies and
Okay.
gentlemen, by the power of pause, we'll be back, and it'll be like nothing happened. I'll be back. All right, y'all. By the magic of the pause button, y'all have no idea, but it's been about a good 5-10 minutes, and just a quick mishap. Ceiling fan shit fell down, busted. Whatever. Dogs are fine. Kids are fine. So prior to that, though, Sergeant Jay over here was letting us know about a shitbag soldier that was in basic with him and a upset drill sergeant that was wondering if he was going to do better. So let's go ahead and continue on there if you don't mind. No,
yeah. So yeah, I was going through. When I first got there, I was going through a bad time mentally. But then my battle, because that was my battle. He was unsquared away, but he was a great guy. I was on the other hand squared away, but was just going through that mental thing,
Right.
And the drill, he had told me, he's like, man, you know what? I'm kind of upset with you because Hispanics are one of the most high speed in the military.
Oh shit!
And I was like, that threw me back because I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't expecting to hear that.
Right.
Puerto Ricans, Mexicans, it doesn't matter. Hispanics, they're freaking high speed. And it wasn't nothing about race or anything like that. There was just something that he had known, he expected, and that flipped the switch in me to the point where it was just like, bam, I just kept going. And I always had that in the back of my mind. I told a couple of guys that I knew when they were having bad times, and I would say, hey, this is the deal. So that changed. That changed my whole mental. I was good to go.
Yeah.
I graduated basic training the same day. I flew to freaking airborne school, man.
Oh shit! Right on.
Yeah.
This was he? Did he end up retiring? That King, was that his name?
No, it was Williams.
Oh well, I thought you said it was a drill sergeant King there for some reason.
Oh no.
Oh, okay, Williams. Okay, right on. Because the only Williams that I knew, well, he was somebody else. He was my senior drill sergeant Williams, big old tall white boy, airborne, high speed, pissed off. But anyways, moving on.
I never ran into this guy ever again.
Oh, dude, I ran into 2 of my drill sergeants. One of them, I ran into him out there in Korea the first time. His name was Castro, I think his name was. And then from there, I ran into Drill Sergeant Showmaker. That motherfucker. He was the first sergeant last time I saw. He was cool as shit, though. Oh, yeah. Showtime. Ballhead. This man, I swear to God, was like a Rolodex of ARs in basic. But he was also the NBC NCO in drill, right? In basic. So the night before the fucking gas chamber, he's like, all right, privates, tomorrow's the day. You guys gonna go to the gas chamber. Are you gonna die? No, but you're gonna wish you were dead. Oh man, truer words were never said, bro.
Yeah, absolutely.
We went into that gas chamber. I was fucking dying. And then like a dumbass, what do? I drop my fucking mask. I get out. And I'm I'm all waving my arms like we're supposed to, right? Like dumbasses. Yeah. And then all I hear is, hey, battle, get that private over there. Get that private. And I'm like, oh, fuck. And then they were like, hey, private, where's your mask? Son of a bitch. So you know what they made us do back then, right? Go all the way to the cold room and then into the hot room. And then once in the hot room, they like to play games, little fuck games. Yeah. I went to go grab my mask. Motherfucking drill sergeant kicks that shit from one side of the room to the other side of the room. I'm fucking choking on shit, dude. I'm about to grab it. Drill sergeant grabs it, chucks it to the other side of the room. I'm over there running all over the place. Finally, I grab the goddamn mask, and the first thing you're supposed to do is what?
Clear it, yeah.
Not this guy. I grabbed it and took a big ass whiff. I'm choking thinking about it now.
Yeah.
Choked on that motherfucking CS gas, bro. Good
Yeah.
times, good times.
Great
I keep
times,
coming
man.
back to that,
Great
but
times.
yeah. So from there, you went off to airborne school. That was what, like 14 days, right?
Yeah.
How was that? How was your first jump?
First jump was the best. After that in airborne school, it's funny. First jump, man, it was a lot of us out there. This was the third time I had ever been on a plane, and I'm jumping out.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Just like your buddy, I think he said that on the other one too. The same thing with me. I heard that. I was like, yeah. But by the way, I listened to all your podcasts. Anyways, so when I jumped, we were like, woo, yeah, just screaming and laughing and stuff.
Yeah.
The black cat on the bottom was like, we had that mic. He's like, shut the fuck up. This is an airborne operation. You're supposed to be quiet, blah, blah, blah. And, but like I said, I didn't know what was going on at that whole time. So then after that, because we did 2 weeks. We didn't do the 3 weeks because it was 4th of July weekend coming up. So they were trying to push us out. So we did 1 jump on a Friday, and then we did 2 on a Saturday, 2 on a Sunday. I didn't even do graduation because my ex was pregnant with my son, and he was gonna go into labor. So my dad drove all the way over there, picked me up. And I drove the halfway back or whatever. I slept for a little bit, and then I drove back, and then I was there.
That's what's up. Damn.
Yeah.
Then from there, you went to Fort Bragg, North Carolina, thinking you were going to be part of the All-American 82nd Airborne. And nope.
No, it wasn't with 82nd. I wasn't.
Oh, no, I'm tracking. But I'm thinking you thought you were probably going to go to the All-American 82nd. But
I did.
Behold, you end up at
18 Airborne Corps, 1321, the only 198 Airborne Battalion in this free world.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have been hearing that since 2005 when I met him. I've been hearing the only 198.
Hey, I heard you cringe the other day when somebody else said that too, and you were like, "Oh my god."
Yeah. I can't remember who it was that said that shit, but yeah, dude. Oh, it's like, boy, man. But it's cool. I mean, that's awesome. And I know that you also hold a record or held a record at one time there with Sergeant Campos.
Yeah, we did. So there's different times on a heavy drop. You have a time in the day and you have a time in the night you have to beat. We beat the daytime at night, which was, I think it's like 24 minutes like that. There's some stuff I keep in my mind. Some things I don't.
Right.
But exact time. But we were like short. We had like 10 seconds left when we were about to, bust time for that daytime.
Yeah.
We still would have been good for the nighttime, but we had like 10 seconds and we beat the daytime at night. And that was first round downrange.
Fuck yeah. Damn. That's what's up.
Yeah, man. That was hot shit, man. We was good.
That's what's up. Especially at nighttime. I can only imagine that shit. Good night. So what would you think of your experience when you were like in an airborne unit? Well, you know what? You spent your time in the airborne. Were you supposed to deploy with them, but didn't deploy with them?
So we did deploy with but we didn't go to Iraq or Afghanistan. We went to Hungary.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, we went to Hungary. We were in support of OIF, but it wasn't a part of it. So what we did was we held a basic training for all the Iraqis that were exiled from Iraq.
Okay.
And they were going to go join the Free Fifth Army, which is the Fifth Army or whatever.
Right.
And so we were doing a basic training over there in Hungary, and it was supposed to be all this secret mission or whatever. It wasn't a success because they didn't get as many guys as they were supposed to.
Right.
They only did like a few cycles or whatever, but we had us as security, we had commo, we had drill sergeants. Damn. We had like all kinds of people that went to that deployment. Great deployment though.
Yeah, you go to Budapest, right?
Yeah. We went to Budapest. We went to Kaposvár, which was a town outside. We were on guard with a lot of the Hungarian special forces guys. Damn. Those guys are amazing, freaking cool people. That's when we got introduced to KBR, great defect,
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah.
So you ended up finishing that tour that you had right there.
Yep.
So you came back to Bragg, right?
Yeah.
So did I hear correctly that you ended up injuring yourself on a jump?
I did. I broke my leg on my 10th jump.
Damn.
It was a night jump. During that week or that time frame, they told us that we had to do a PT test. We had to go to the range, and we had to do a jump before we can do block leave. It was about to be summer. Yeah. So I had already did the PT test and I already did the range all in the same week. I was like, and then there was a jump coming up with the engineer battalion. I think it was some engineer battalion down the road.
Okay.
But one of the rules involved in which is kind of contradicting now that I think about it. You volunteer to go airborne, but when you go to an airborne unit, you don't ever volunteer for nothing, right?
Right.
Well, I volunteered for that jump, and boom,
Oh, fuck.
I broke my left leg, tib fib, both bones broke. I was at the end of the drop zone, which is probably about a mile long on Sicily. A couple of the battle buddies had to go up on top of the hill and shake the chem light and get me down there and stuff like that, and took me to the hospital.
So was that your last jump ever? No,
No.
you ended up going back to a airborne unit, right? Okay,
So-
we'll get to that. Go ahead.
So when you get injured on an airborne jump, you have 6 months. You automatically get a 6-month profile.
Okay.
And I went in that next day, man. I was in my crutches everything. I was like, hey, cancel that shit. I'm not jumping no more. So then the sergeant major was like, no. That's when he told me about the 6 months. I was like, okay. Well, then the 6 months came. We were deploying in like a couple of months.
Yeah.
So it didn't matter. So then we deployed. So as soon as we got back, they said, hey, you're a pay hurt. You're about to owe money if you don't jump tonight, And I was like,
Shit.
what? So, I was a specialist at that time. I needed the money. That was $400 something that was about to come on my check.
Right.
You got to make a choice, family, jump or don't jump. So I jumped. Man, The guy behind me, he was one of these guys, man, you got some idiots that just, shake that static line. And I was a specialist at that time and he was a sergeant. I said, hey, stop. I didn't know, no tagging. I was just like, stop. Nervous and shit that whole day. But it ended up actually being a great jump. After that, I had I think it was like 9 or 10 more jumps. All of them great jumps. I knew I was PCSing, so I had one more jump to do.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man, that was probably the best jump out of my whole career, just because I had a lot of my battle buddies with me.
Yeah.
And it was crazy because I saw my battle buddies as we were in the air.
Yeah.
And we're all looking at each other and everything. And then simultaneously, it was just, we all knew what to do. We all looked at each other, was like, what's up? And then boom, automatically at the same time, we all just went and start, de-rigging our stuff, get ready for the jump. And it was cool to see that. And I don't know if they saw that. I know I saw it. And then we all landed. We all ran together to the, the rally point and walked off.
Dude, that's fucking awesome, man.
Yeah.
If there's one thing that I wish I would have done, it would have been to jump out of fucking planes. Unfortunately, my slow ass can't run with the shit. So that's a no-go. Even though, I would have gotten there. Eventually in Korea, I became a good runner. But when I got back from Korea, done. But, so cool beans. So you ended up coming to fucking Fort Hood. That alone had to be a big-ass transition. You came back home in a way, but you came back to a whole different Army atmosphere, I'm assuming. To me, this was my first unit already. So that's all I knew was 277. You already had a couple of years under you in the airborne land, which I think benefited me as a soldier being under you because you had a different mentality than a lot of other cats, I guess. Well, as long as I was in the military, I started seeing differences between people and their leadership styles. But so what were your thoughts, your initial thoughts when you came to Hood?
So when I got to Fort Hood, it was kind of weird because, me and my wife at the time, we were walking to the Welcome Center. I still had my maroon beret. I was thinking, because at Fort Bragg, when you go to the CIF, you get 2 berets,
Okay.
And so I was thinking the same thing. I'll wait till I get to CIF and I'll get a black beret, this and that. Yeah. So I was still wearing my maroon beret. I was a sergeant, wasn't promotable, nothing. And the staff sergeant moved out of my way. Me and my wife at the time, we moved out of my way. He was like, hey, Sergeant, hey, nervous, stuttering and everything. I was like, and she looked at me and she was like, don't he outrank you? I was like, yeah, I don't know. Whatever. So I wore that maroon beret for a couple of days because I didn't know. And then once I got corrected by Gunline, I can't remember his name. Anyways, he was like, no, when are you going to change beret? I was like, what? Don't I get it at CIF? He's like, no, you got to go buy it. I was like, okay. So, I was one of those guys, you only got to tell me once.
Right.
So I went and bought the beret. The next day, I'm in a black beret. It's definitely different just because, I was the NCO at that time, and that's because I left. So back up to Bragg, I went to the board, which Campos forced me. He didn't force me. He didn't beg me. It was in between the force and the beg. He asked me for a couple months. I said no, because I saw a lot of people in that battalion. It was for a long time. There was nobody less than a specialist there. We were all specialists, E5, staff sergeant, whatever. Mm-hmm. But I broke my leg, so a lot of people passed me up, and it was a respect thing at that point. I'm like, I taught you some stuff of this stuff, so I'm not disrespecting you, but respect your elders. It's kind of that mentality. So I didn't get promoted. I didn't get promoted as fast as those guys. But me and this other guy, he got injured, and we were still doing things. We were still going to the battery. We were still doing, the first time we give us small missions, and we were still doing. Well, he promoted us while we were on profile, and it's like, hey, these guys are still doing it or whatever. Right. So then Campbell, had me go to the board. I didn't have money. It was Christmas time. I was like, yeah, let me go ahead and go. The sergeant major at that time was my first sergeant when I first got there.
Okay.
He goes, hey, Juarez, how you doing? I'm like, good. He was like, he told all the first sergeants, he's like, he was my soldier when I was first sergeant at HSB. He ain't getting shit today. He's going to earn it. Just talking about it. God damn. So, he even brought up my family. He's like, your family's getting big, this and that. I was like, yeah, Roger, sergeant major. So then I had to answer all the questions, whatever. So I got promoted. Well, when the points came out, I busted tape by 0.25.
What the fuck?
Yeah. And so the first one we had was a fister. And he was like, nope. I was like, Top. I was like, I can go take a shit right now and come back and I'll be good, Mm-hmm. And he was like, nope. So I don't know what he didn't do, or what he did do. I know what he didn't do. He didn't file my paperwork because we didn't have we had a PAC at the time where you had to go take the paperwork. S1 had to take it to the PAC, the central HR area or whatever.
Right.
In layman's terms. And he didn't do that. So when the points came out, I was on the program, even though I came off 3 days later.
Okay.
My points came down, so I was going to get promoted, and he was fighting with PAC, and the PAC told him, the first sergeant, because you failed to do your job, we're not going to fail this soldier. I didn't get promoted right away.
Right.
They waited, so we were going to go to Fort Lewis and do the ROTC thing and shoot for them. Okay. And I had to get transferred to a new battery because our battery got split up. And the day we got sent to Alpha Battery as an attachment, they promoted me that day. My platoon sergeant was fighting for me. They promoted me that day. They said, man, this guy's been promoted for like a month and a half. We just haven't promoted him because first sergeant won't let him.
That's bullshit. Hey, but we're making that E5 pay yet?
Yeah, I was making it pay. Yeah, so I wasn't too worried about it.
Right.
Yeah. So then when I got to Hood, it was the first time, just kind of like in a different environment, that was probably I was probably the asshole the most at that unit. I don't know why.
Really?
Yeah. Because after I left that unit, I wasn't an asshole no more. I was actually pretty cool,
Right.
So I matured a little bit as we gone, and I think I matured every time. I think my mentality was every term I will take it at a different spot. So when I got to Fort Hood, I thought I was going to get out at 8 years, and I didn't. I ended up, re-enlisting and going, somewhere else. So
right. Shit. Yeah, and when I made E5, well, we'll get to that story later. Let's talk about our deployment because first, at first when I first got there, I was on the gun line with Tank, and then they split us all up into gun trucks. Yeah, that was that fucking month-long retarded field problem that they trained us for war, and since we couldn't go to damn NTC or JRTC, and so I ended up being your gunner. And you were my sergeant, and then we had old man Moyer as the driver, rat face fuck Wilson in the back seat. So, and how did you think that came when you heard that was gonna be your gun truck? What were your initial thoughts? Be real. Be real.
Because we had McCabe too. We had McCabe at first. Well, no, that was ammo. I really, my initial thoughts for being that was just how to get y'all to not obey me or anything like that, but listen to what I had to say.
Mhm.
All of y'all were older than me. You were the youngest out of those two, and and
Oh, Wilson was.
no, I think well maybe by a year.
Okay.
But it was y'all. Y'all were all smarter than me because y'all had years over me and this and
Right.
that. So it was one of those. That was the barrier that I had to deal
Okay.
with y'all three. But it at some point it meshed together finally, and we became one of the best crews out there in that truck because we had a really good relationship, and then we had a really good work ethic as well,
Yeah.
to the point where I could say, hey, Lopez, take this sector or whatever, and
Yeah.
then Maury would do his, and then whatever, while I'm on the Blue Force tracker doing what I
Right.
got to do. And it was just a give and take because it wasn't something that I say that I did. It was a team, because you gave me a couple options, or decisions to make, whatever, and I'm
Right.
like, yeah, I'll do it.
You know,
Maury was the same. Even Wilson a couple of times. I was like, okay, yeah, that sounds good. Let's do it.
fuck that puto. Well, I didn't have an issue with your age at all. Because I always thought of it like, I think we even talked about this when we were in Iraq. Like, I might be older than you in years,
Yeah.
civilian life, but you got me on military years. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So, I mean, I get where you would see that be like a hindrance because, there's a lot of older cats that came in and shit. And they probably gave like people like Borson, he was a young ass E5, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I never saw the age thing. I always just fucking listened. I was taught to do what you're told, do what you're told. God damn it, just do what you're told. But
Yeah.
fucking
But
Wilson.
I saw something the other day that this one NCO posted. She was like, you have different NCOs. You have the shy one, you have the one that yells, you have the one that don't give a fuck, you have the one that's cool. And
Yeah.
I had a reply on there. I was like, I think I was one of those all at one time, at one point.
Right?
um,
Hey,
at Fort Hood, I yelled a lot. I did. But then there was some times where it was just like, yeah, I had common sense. Because I fucked up as a soldier, man. I fucked up
yeah.
a couple of times just because of not knowing sometimes, sometimes you don't know a certain thing. So yeah, you're going to mess up. But when you do know, when you mess up and you don't correct it,
Yeah.
that's where it's a problem.
Exactly. Well, the funny thing is that, I mean, I expected the yelling. I mean, to me, I joined the fucking military.
Right.
But I was saying, that's all I knew. And so I carried that along with myself as well. When I got to Korea, I went to the board immediately, picked up 5 in February of '08, which we'll get into how my incident in Baghdad didn't hinder me from progressing because I learned from it. But fucking yeah, I brought that along with me too. And I think as a young E5, you're still trying to figure out your leadership style. So you go off of what what worked with you should work with others, and then so I was a big time yeller and a big time smoker. I mean,
Yeah.
I would smoke the dog shit out motherfuckers out there. And then anyways, back to Baghdad. So we got together, we did our fucking shit. It was me, Moyer. Who made the list, or who did the manning of who's gonna be the driver, who's gonna be the AG, who's gonna be the gunner? Or was that something that was already written, like figured out for y'all?
I think that was figured out, but then once everybody kind of got well, I think what it was what was figured out was who was going to be in the truck.
Okay.
And then once we certified as, because remember we did that at your Camp Buren or whatever, whatever, and that was kind of like the section or table 6 or whatever.
Right.
That's what your job was or whatever. But then we kind of we were able to make that change, this and that. But if you wanted to be a gunner or somebody wanted to be a gunner or whatever, I was cool with it. It didn't matter. But dude, you were freaking amazing up there, man. You freaking saved their lives a couple of times, man.
Oh man, Moyer still makes fun of me for one of those incidents. But fucking cause it was funny. I remember when I became the gunner, I remember going to the 50 cal range. I remember Sanchez. I'm gonna tell Sanchez about this too. Remember when we went to the 50 cal range on the Humvees? That motherfucker just unloaded the whole 50 cal can without stopping, just the whole fucking way through. Like, dude.
And he probably said it then.
First. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. That was a good fucking podcast. Hey, listeners, if y'all haven't gone yet, he's the host of the Under the Net podcast, the one I always plug at the end of the shit. He's the host of it. and fucking, it's an amazing podcast. It's like this, but more. I always find I struggle with the words for it, but more, I guess, formatted, more professional. Mine is we're fucking at a bar, and his is more you're at fucking Red Lobster. You know what I'm saying?
And I thank you for that. I thank you for that comment, but I don't really think that is that way either. I just think that we just trying to get the story out there, and trying
Right.
to find some structure and keep it simple. Because in reality, I think yours is the same way. Yours is like Red Lobster. Mine's at the fucking just different, verbiage or whatever or anything like that. But it's still, I think yours is, better than mine.
We work off of each other.
Right, absolutely, and it's not a competition or anything like that. I just think that yours is good. And there's a lot of things that I pull from just to kind of like structure mine and just go from there. And yeah, but dude, I love listening to yours. And like I said, this is different, being on this side of the
It
podcast.
is.
Definitely.
See, I had it early when I went onto your podcast. I was still new at this shit. So whenever I go back on there, if ever invited, hey, it's kind of hard giving up that the mic. You know what I'm saying? Because now there's probably points where you want to interject and move it this way.
No worries. Yeah, but yeah, definitely gonna be invited. My schedule's all the way. I think I just filled up the last slot in August. So
right on.
I'm just.
And of course, he got from.
I don't wait, this and that. So.
Yeah. So Baghdad, right? So I got into an incident in Baghdad. Everybody that was in 277 knows about it. So here's the story what really occurred that night. All right.
Well, no, here's the thing. I've already heard that story. I've heard it a couple times through your podcast or itself.
Okay. Yes, I got fucked up but the whole reasoning behind of why I got drunk that night.
Okay, yeah, tell me that then.
All right, the reason I got drunk that night was because my homeboy Snowburger had just gotten killed.
Okay.
So, and then when I found out that there was an opportunity to get drunk, I got drunk and I went above and beyond. But anyways, that was that. So what was your question? What do you know I don't know about?
Well, no, I think that answered my question, and I think this is where I think in myself internally that I made a change, because I think in that unit right there, I was unapproachable. I took care of my guys because, a lot of times in the inspections that we had with Smoke, I mean, he was a hard guy too. But as a leader, there was a lot of times that we were in the back and I was like, hey, he's like earplugs. I'm looking down the line. And I'm like, y'all got him? So I'm passing them down because I had extra sets of everything in my pocket, and I'm looking out for y'all, and I'm just like, okay, let's be good. So I took care of my guys always. I've always done that.
Yeah.
And I wasn't approachable.
You know what? That's a good what's it called? Hindsight. That's a good fucking, I never thought about that because we never, we talked, but we never really like got into each other's emotions or feelings.
Right.
I think that was more due to the environment that we were in as well.
Yeah, well, that too, but I mean, because there were some times where I was lax, in the truck, and we kind of like goofed around and stuff, but we didn't get that one-to-one, that where I understood what you were doing and like that, and I think as you say that kind of in my mind is like, well, damn, if you would have told me that, it could have been a different direction or anything like that, But I don't think that's my fault though for being unapproachable, because after that unit, very unapproachable. Even as a platoon sergeant, I've had a lot of guys tell me, as a platoon sergeant, you're the most approachable platoon sergeant that I've ever had. This and that. I'm just like, well, I just been in a lot of these situations before. I've been in a lot, I've dealt with a lot, so it's not reason why I'm gonna raise my blood pressure over something like this.
Right. At the end of the day, it's my dumbass that fucking got shit faced. And I should have. I was gonna drink, and that just, I'm not gonna put it as an excuse. But when Overson said, I got some moonshine, I said, I got some rippets. So, I got fucked up. And what fucking killed it, there was a fucking staff sergeant that he's the one that put me over. He gave me a shot of fucking tequila. And that was it right there. It was over. The next thing I know is I'm waking up to banging on my fucking door. And I'm like, oh, fuck what happened last night. And then, but yeah, dude. And then Smoke told me, look, Lopez, we can nip it in the bud right here. You know, tell me what happened. Tell me. But I'm not a snitch. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to snitch nobody out. So I just had to take the fucking fall, man. And I mean, I did it. It wasn't nobody's fault but mine. You know what I mean? But what I did learn from it, though, was don't get caught. I'm not going to say that I didn't drink again out there in Baghdad, or in Iraq, or any deployment. Hell,
yeah.
You know, just make sure you do it responsibly.
Right. my first platoon sergeant at Bragg when I got on the gun line, because I was in ammo. Ammo was in headquarters.
Okay.
Until September 11th happened, and they moved all 13 Bravos to the gun line.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't want them doing anything like that. If they were going to do ammo, they were going to do it at the gun line.
Right.
And my first platoon sergeant when I went to the gun line, I was only in headquarters for like a month or two, so don't, you know.
That's like being. I get you, man. I feel you.
Yeah.
I feel you.
Yeah. But my first platoon sergeant said that same thing, and that stuck with me. And I told my guys the same thing too. He goes, I know you're fucking doing it. Just don't get fucking caught.
All right.
And it's not right to say, do what you're going to do, you know, but everybody's human. Everybody's going to make mistakes. Everybody's going to do stupid shit, you know, this and that. But when you get caught, that's when that person, that leader or whatever, has to act on it and, you know, go from there. And now you're questioning at that point my integrity or, you know, this and that. So it's just one of those things, you know.
No, I completely agree. And you know what's funny, it's crazy is that, you know, thank God that fucking First Sergeant Brenton, you know, he had my back on it. You guys had my back from what I know or what I was told. I heard that Captain Flores wanted to fucking slam me though. You know, I heard that he wanted to just, but I think one of the benefits of it all was that it was happening during the change of command. So I don't know if that had a lot to do with this shit getting, because when I got told 45 and half month's pay or whatever the fuck it was, I'm thinking to myself like, dude, I'm restricted to a fob. Okay. You know, 45 days extra duty.
Yeah.
You know, the extra duty part though, that shit fucked me up because we were going on missions on those nights. Yeah, but I mean, I stepped on my dick and I bounced back off of it. You know, all it did was my flag was lifted right before my 2-year mark. So I made E4 right on time. And so
you had always told me in the truck, you're like, I'm going to catch up to you. I'm going to catch up to you. And I was like, I hope you do. I'm not, you know, knocking you, whatever. And I remember the results from my list came out. And I think your list came out. You emailed me. You're like, I'm staff sergeant. I was like, I'll make a sergeant first class.
Dude, I mean, it's crazy though how things happen, man. It's really crazy how things happen. Like I'm thinking hindsight right now. All those missions we were on, all those times on the road, all those pucker effects. I mean, fucking the time that the fucking I'm thinking one of the times was when Sexy was with us, saying that I might be having a heart attack up there or whatnot.
Yeah, you're gonna blow a blood vein or something like that. I'm like, whatever, man. But you know. And I say this all the time, you know, you were kind of like Moses, man. You would make them roads like spread like water, man. It's like you couldn't find her out. And sometimes we would just turn and be like, holy shit, how are we going to get through this? Don't worry about it. We got it. And we would make it happen. And, you know, it was just amazing, man.
It was funny, y'all. There was this E5 that was in a gunner's hatch, and we were coming out of Fob Falcon. And we're going south on fucking that road. I can't remember what it's called. But fucking we're going down south on it. And 75 was like, what are you doing? You ain't going to get through there? Shut the fuck up. I got this. Watch me. I'm a little fucking PFC telling the fucking E5, shut the fuck up. I got this.
Yeah. Well, you know.
We pushed on.
Y'all probably didn't see this, but Landis and Maui and Weimer, sometimes they would come up to me and be like, hey, why did you do this? Why did you do that?
Right.
And I would tell them, I said, no, sometimes, you know, it was us. We all came up with that decision together to say this was a better route because it was a feeling. You know, there was a couple of times where we made a different choice and the guys behind us made the wrong choice and they made that choice, you know, where they had some, you know, casualties or whatever.
Yeah.
And we were just kind of like, and that's when the question would come like, well, why did y'all do that? I don't know, man. We just fucking did what we did, you know, because we had everybody in mind that was behind us. We were up front. We took that personal.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, and we wanted to bring everybody back. So that was the biggest thing, man.
Well, shit. I mean, every fucking briefing that we had, all we kept hearing was like, "Oh yeah, when you guys deploy, the gunner's the one that usually dies. The gunner's the one that usually dies in the on Humvee." I'm like, well, thanks a fucking lot. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it was what it was. You know, I was ready for it. I had already made my fucking peace. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I still remember.
But, you know, as a leader though, and as an NCO, you might have made that piece. I didn't. So it goes a step further. You know, me and us as a truck.
Oh yeah.
Thinking about the rest of the convoy, but me, I'm thinking about y'all as well. So I got to make the better choice, and that's why you had a different view than I did.
Right.
Moyer had a different view sometimes. So it was like I'm not gonna say, oh, it's my way or the highway. You know,
Right.
That's where people get fucked up.
No, and you know what? The trust that you put in me, I do appreciate. I mean, because fucking, like you said, I had a much better view up there. I knew where the traffic was, and I'll be goddamned if we were going to go into that tunnel of love. That shit was not happening, Chief. It was not happening.
Yeah.
That's why that's why that motherfucker said I was going to blow a blood vessel, and then telling me that I did it wrong because I told the Haji to move that fucking brick. I couldn't tell, man. That shit could have been a EFP. We're getting fucked up out there with EFPs, man.
Hey, and that was a smart tactic to me though, because you're having them moving, not us. You know, like
exactly.
And, and it's just stuff that you think about, while you're there. And there's a lot of things that civilians don't think about, and that's why that's another reason why that this podcast is really good, because now you get to understand a little bit, and you hear our stories, you hear our thought processes, and you hear why we made decisions and this and that. Thinking of not just our guys, but everybody else, because I don't want to see that shit happen here. Whatever.
Exactly.
So
exactly, dude. I mean, I know as a leader, when I became a leader and I deployed with my Joes under me, my mission was to bring them home, take them there, bring them home. If I come home, I don't care if I don't come home, as long as they come home. And I did everything within my power. Like, just like you gave me like the authority of doing whatever I had to do in the hatch. I told my gunner, hey man, I don't give a fuck if they look like they're throwing a fucking rock or a shoe. If they make a motion like they're throwing something, you take them out. Take them out. I will back you up.
Absolutely.
And dude, I told him, hey Remy, what are you gonna do if you get a chance? Kill them all day, every day, Chief. Hell yeah, dude. Because you got to have that trust up there with them, man.
Yeah. Hey. So tell me the story. Why did I dust you off that one time? I don't know what.
Oh my God.
I don't remember.
I'm gonna remember. I remember it was a night mission that we were going on. I think we're probably gonna go to Butler Range, and actually, I think it was a Butler Range mission. And I was talking with I don't know which one. I don't know if I was talking with Cruz or I was talking with Sergeant Landis. I think it was Sergeant Landis, and he said something about, oh, your chief's gonna get on you. And I was like, my chief's over there in Falcon. And then he's like, what'd you say? Like, he's at Falcon. So then he takes off and comes tell you, and apparently he heard that I called you a Blue Falcon. You said, oh, I'm a Falcon? I'm a Falcon? Oh my God, there was such a fucking mix up there. Because I was talking about Sergeant Taylor. I think I was talking with Cruz or somebody else about Sergeant Taylor. And and then fucking Landis heard that shit. All I know is I'm walking out with my 240 and my canister. Beat your fucking face. Get down. Beat your fucking face. Like, what the fuck did I do? I'm in parade rest and shit. I got the face shield on, everything ready. Beat your face. I'm a fucking Falcon, huh? I'm a fucking Falcon, huh? I didn't say that, Sergeant J. I didn't say that. I mean, I'm getting my ass dusted off. Oh, but you know what? I get it now. I get it. Once I got into that leadership position, I understand. Even wrong, right, or indifferent, you have to back up your fucking NCO.
Absolutely.
I mean,
I think the story came out afterwards. I was like, yeah, okay, whatever. But at the same time, I don't know if I apologize or not. If I didn't, I apologize now. But at that time, I was like, fuck it, whatever. He'll grow from it.
Yep. Hey, I need the muscles anyway.
Yeah.
Dude, those were some good fucking times, man. I mean,
I didn't think you were gonna go that route with that story, man. I thought you were gonna talk about the one with the picture. Because I heard that one with I think it was
oh no, nobody knows that story.
No, they said it. What's his name said it? Diaz said it. The picture.
Oh, that story.
Yeah.
Fucker.
Yeah.
That was the one that got me canceled from OP7. Every time I see that picture, man, I'm like, fucking Diaz. Dude, no, it trips out. Like, that deployment from the get-go, it seemed like it was going to be a shitty one. From our first mission.
From the get-go, yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
That was a rough fucking day. And, because I was in the second truck, and then you were in the first truck of Holguin. And then the third truck was the one that got hit with the fucking EFP, which is a trip because it's usually the first vehicle.
There you go. Yes. And that's what fucks me up mentally. That's what fucks me up is because that first truck is the one that goes off. So it's like, sometimes you think it could have been me, and sometimes a lot of people tell me, like, why do you live the way you live? And I'm like, because there's a couple of times that deployment, my Afghanistan deployment, man, had it rough, so my life, in my mind, I think I shouldn't even be here sometimes, but I'm grateful. I'm really grateful that I'm here. I'm really grateful what I'm doing. I'm really grateful that I'm still, be able to do this. So, and it took me a minute to get over that. It took me, some mental thoughts or whatever. And I deal with it every now and then, but, oh my gosh, just that alone just freaking could stir somebody to go crazy,
Fucking A. I mean, it tripped me the fuck out because it was supposed to, it's usually always the first fucking truck that sets it off.
Yeah.
So you guys didn't set it off. We didn't set it off. And I still remember just clearly hearing the doosh.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck? I ducked and I looked to the back, and that's when I saw the Humvee go over the fucking the median and go hit the ditch. And I'm looking at LT, and I'm like, IED. I did a fucking warrior. IED. I yelled that shit out. And when we went back around, and fucking that like that scene alone fucked me up because there were 3 Lopez's there. All right, so it was me, PFC Lopez. There was E5 Lopez, and then there was the Staff Sergeant Lopez.
Yep.
So when we make that turn, and we're calling for the medic, and we're fucking trying to do first aid. I see fucking Sergeant Lopez holding his throat. You know what I'm saying? And then fucking they tell me go get the litter. So I turn around and go get the litter. As I did that, that's when the secondary went off.
Yeah.
When Doc Walker got killed. So fucking that shit fucking shakes me up. I feel a concussion blast, and I'm like, that's why I froze for about a second or two, and then the training kicked in. But what made me freeze was they were like, okay, who's that? Who's they were doing the sending up the report, right? And they were like, yeah, we got 2 KIA, Lopez and Walker, and I started feeling myself like Lopez. So I'm touching my like, okay, not me, right? Not me. And like my nerves were getting shocked, dude. But from there, fucking everything, the training kicked in. And then Keys, I still remember his name, Keys the gunner, just started lighting the motherfuckers up over the overpass because they remember cheering and all that shit.
Yeah.
Dude, it that day, like I can still see that shit vividly every fucking day. Yeah. And I thank God, like you said, that we made it through. Yeah. But my shrink said that I have survivor's guilt, and that's what fucks me up a lot through it.
Oh, I agree with you, man. I agree with you. And that was something that, when I talked with Campos a couple episodes ago on my podcast, I wasn't sure to bring it up or not because he was in that truck. But we did talk about it briefly, but not in detail. Just out of respect, man. Sometimes it's something that I have. I respect for other people. And I just kind of knew I didn't want to push the buttons or whatever, but
I do. I push them all the time.
That dude, we were only in country 2 weeks, man. That set the tone for the rest of the freaking year,
Exactly.
Which is hard because I was 23.
Damn.
First deployment, brand new. Like I think I was E5, probably I think I was promotable at that point, but the points were so high or whatever. Whatever.
790 never.
Yeah. But I was only in the military 5 years. Right. So, that's just one of those things where it wasn't just the deployment. It was just my timing, grade, my time of service, my age, and just having to make decisions like this. And this is where America doesn't realize what they do with their soldiers, because look at me, man, look at you, look at us, that gun truck, that platoon, that battery or whatever, however you want to say it. You got a lot of young people in there, the sons and daughters, you have parents, mothers and fathers, that are over there doing this and making these tough decisions. And that tough decision started back when I was in high school, whether I was going to go, to high school or not,
Yep.
finish it or not. And then you just keep going, man. Like, dude, we can keep going a lot of the tough decisions that I had.
Oh yeah, dude. So it's fucking crazy, man. I mean, just thinking about it, like you said, it set the tone for the whole fucking deployment.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because the day before that or 2 days before that was when we had the rocket attack at OP7, when it was me, Cruz, and Revere up there, and Kowalczyk. Stupid Kowalczyk. I don't even think anybody.
I love hearing those backstories of what y'all were doing over there because as an NCO sometimes you don't hear that, and that's where I apologize because I was unapproachable.
Right.
But because if I was approachable, I would have known about all this, and I didn't. I knew y'all were doing stupid shit, but sometimes I was just kind of like, whatever, I don't give a fuck. And I had to let some of that shit go. But I love hearing these stories because it's just kind of like, holy shit, like that's hilarious. Like they really did that. They really did this,
Right.
Then later in my career, I was just kind of like, that would have been acceptable because I got it. I get
it. Dude, so let's talk about your career progression. So you ended up Baghdad just took up pretty much a whole lot of fucking time, but we don't have a time limit here on the gun line.
Yeah.
I don't kick motherfuckers out under the net.
Well, no, hey, I, under the net, I try to go as long as I can. I don't have a timeline either.
Yeah.
I just feel when the conversation's kind of going a little dry.
Yeah.
And that part of that's my problem. I don't have enough questions or anything like that. But I tell you this, with under the net, I love the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
I get a lot of good feedback from it. It's a mental thing too. It's a mental thing that you have to, prepare for it. You can't just go and record,
Right.
Sometimes you can. But it also depends on the guest too. The guest has to be openly ready to speak. And sometimes what I've experienced in the last few guests that I've had, they've been nervous.
Yeah.
They've been nervous. And then as soon as you get midway, they start talking. And then once it's over, they're just like, man, we could have talked about this. We could talk about that. We could talk about this. Like, well, you've been on the schedule this long, but it's just an experience, man. It's nothing that, hate or anything like that. It's just a thing, all for fun.
And then when you bring them on the second time, man, they just fucking it just flows so much more smooth. Like when I had Marquez on, well, Marquez is just a fucking natural when speaking, and so was Hunt. Like there was no nerves, no nothing. But some people, it's like pulling teeth, trying to get them to open up at first, but then afterwards, after they get the and I think what's helping out is actually this pandemic shit, having us talking in this format. I think that's beneficial to us because now everybody's getting used to doing this. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
and that's why I'll tell a lot of people, hey, listen to my podcast. There's some that are boring, but there's some that I'm trying to work on or whatever. But so back to what we were saying.
Yeah, back to fucking out of Fort Hood. I ended up going to Korea, and I stepped on my dick, but I went. Luckily, I made E4. Then I got to December, went to the board. February picked up E5. I was on track, made fucking 5-3, 6-4, and then just rolled out the career till at year 10 they kicked my ass out. Said we don't need you no more. Getting boarded. So what did you end up doing? You ended up fucking going to Germany, I believe.
So as soon as we got back from Iraq, we had the 90-day stabilization, but I was already on order. So remember when we were at we were in Baghdad, we went on leave. And when we were on block leave or R&R or whatever, and we came back, the rest of the battalion had already got those options: school, stay with the unit and go somewhere else,
442 and shit like that.
On Fort Hood and go somewhere else, or do drill sergeant recruiter.
Right.
So when we came back, we were catching the tail end of that, and I picked drill sergeant. I wanted to go drill sergeant. I was like, fuck
hell
that.
Yeah.
Because that was already going with the flow of what I was going, and I just got promoted, whatever, the staff sergeant. I was like, yeah, fuck this. I'll do this. I'll do drill sergeant.
Yeah.
But Todd was like, no, I already stuck my neck out for a couple guys. They reneged. He goes, I'm not going to do that again. I'm like, okay. So they put me down as PCS. I'm leaving. Well, when I did that, that opened up the window for me to Branch had already pulled my name.
Yeah.
They already put me on assignment. I was going to 173rd Airborne in Germany. So when we came back, I already knew that. I re-enlisted, whatever, blah, blah, blah. On my 90-day stabilization, that 91st day, I was on the plane with my family, and we were going to Germany.
Orale. Wow.
Yeah. So when we got there, I got taken care of really good. Pablo Machin. I can't remember saying his name or whatever. Shout out to him. He took care of my family. He came, him and another van. I was supposed to get on. So when you get to Germany, it's all streamlined. You're supposed to get on a bus and, go here and go there, whatever. Well, he had the van. He had another van. They came, they picked me and my family up, and we went straight to the unit.
Oh, wow.
Well, when I got there the next day, when I got to Germany, they were coming back from Graf.
Okay.
And so the next day when I was at work, they were coming to work. That was their first day at work, but they were going on block leave Friday to go because they were deploying as soon as they got back. Like they already had their, main bodies and stuff like that. So they did a 15-month. I did a 12-month.
Right.
I went to, I talked to my sergeant major, showed him my NCOER, this and that. And he was like, damn, you got Iraq dust on your boots. I was like, yeah. I was like, I just got back. He's like, we'll let you go. Your family's here. We'll let you stay back. And then finally I went to Afghanistan a couple months later, But, I was one of those guys where I was always trying to think and do things instead. I did phase 2 BNOC already when I was at Fort Hood. Okay. I just didn't do phase 1. So I was on staff duty one day and I called. I was like, hey, when does phase 1 start? They had one right there in Bamberg. And he was like, today was day 0. I was like, holy shit. He's like, but if you can get all your paperwork done, we can get you in. I was like, okay, cool. Done. So then, so I went to BNOC phase 1, and while I was deployed, I had, completed that, or I completed before I deployed. Yeah. And I was in Afghanistan, man, for 12 months, man. That shit was fucking crazy.
Where were you at in Stan?
We were at FOB Liebert, which was about 2 clicks from the Urshan Pass in RC East.
Okay.
So we were almost up there by Pakistan. We were about a click away from Pakistan.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. Fucking Afghanistan for me was a different type of deployment. Deployments differ. Mine was at FOB Gamberry teaching fucking monkeys how to shoot artillery.
Yeah. Well, the second time I was in RC South.
How was that down there?
Different. Totally different. Not
fast.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it was a little bit slower.
Well, because RC East was pretty fucking active. Because we had a couple of FOBs out there. We had Cop Joyce, Monty, and Monty was fucking shooting every goddamn day.
Yeah.
So
that guy that got the Medal of Honor, the Staff Sergeant Salvatore or whatever, he was in 173rd that time. They were deployed. And I got a book. When I was in Fort Lewis, they had at the MWRs, they had all these free books and stuff like that.
Yep.
I pulled up this book and I got it in my box. And when I opened it up, it had everything that happened in that area. It had our unit, where we were at and stuff like that. I gave it to my dad. I was like, here, read this. And he was like, holy shit. He goes, that's crazy, So, I kept that book, just because it had our unit on there.
Right.
But, totally different. Situations. And you say fucking monkeys and shit. That's funny. I got a story about that. So, I had Gunny Schweiner or CW3 Schweiner on my podcast a couple of times ago. And me and him were really good buddies. And that FOB we were at, it was probably like 30 of us from the Army, 2 Marines, about 30 or 40 ANA, Afghan Army. And then we had like 60 or something security force of the locals.
Oh, okay.
We pulled them in and they helped us. They pulled guard with us.
Yeah.
And then the Army had their own. And then we had a Legion platoon, an infantry platoon. But they were only there for a little bit. They were only there for the summer. In the winter, they left because they could go do other stuff. So they didn't want to just keep them stagnant.
Right.
So then we had an OP. We had 2 different OPs. And I was at my platoon sergeant, which I had already served with at Bragg. I was a staff sergeant now, and he was E7. So we go to the OP, and the guys kept telling me, we had radio shares, the guys keep telling me, because I slept with my guys and with the Afghani guys.
Orale.
We had 2 different little hooches, and I slept with those guys because they had cots, they had a fire, all that stuff. I was like, man, I ain't sleeping on the floor. Fuck that,
Right. Hell yeah.
So when we had a radio guard at night, the guys always say, man, we got some monkeys out there. There's monkeys. And I was like, what? What do you mean there's monkeys? They're like, yeah, we hear them, at night. So I told Doc one day, I was like, hey, Doc, let's go see these fucking monkeys. I was like, plus Pakistan's just right there, man. Let's just fucking climb up the mountain and let's just go. And he had wire, you know, around a little a hooch or whatever.
Yeah.
So we left. Me and Doc left. We're climbing. We're climbing. We're climbing. We're trying to get to Pakistan, you know, to see Pakistan. And we're climbing. We're climbing. And we had been climbing for about 40 minutes.
What the fuck?
Yeah, and nothing. We weren't even close. We were not even close. And all we had was our weapon. We didn't have no gear or nothing, you know. And I probably shouldn't be saying this, but it's funny. So where we stopped at, we saw the monkeys. There was a little family of monkeys. There's probably like 8 of them. Crazy.
What, real monkeys or Afghans?
Real monkeys. Yes.
Oh.
Real monkeys, and that was where they were living.
Oh shit.
Yeah, that's what they had, like a little rock hooch or whatever, and they were living there. So all of them were living there. So I was like, Doc, it started sprinkling. I was like, Doc, let's head back, you know, because if somebody gets hurt or anything like that, I was like, yeah, you're here, but it's gonna suck.
Right.
Let's go head back. This is a failed mission, but we did see the monkeys, you know, whatever. So as we get back, my platoon sergeant standing at that little hole. He was like this. And so I told Doc, because I was staff sergeant at that time. He was a specialist, which is crazy. He was married and his wife was a doc, and they both lived at that farm where we were at.
No shit.
Yeah, which was like a ski resort almost. It looked like it.
Right.
So they were just chilling the whole year. Well, anyways, so I told him, I was like, Doc, I got this. So I told my platoon sergeant, I was like, Smoke. Because we did a lot of projects there. We made our own little shower, you know, this and that. And where the Afghans stayed, they were a little bit higher. So when we showered, these motherfuckers were just staring at us.
Oh,
you know, all naked and stuff. So I said, Smoke, I was taking a shower and the damn monkeys stole my pants. And the doc, once he heard that shit, he went like this. He was like, I was like, hold on. I was like, Smoke. I was like, you know, they watch us while we shower. I was like, I'm not going to walk around here naked. I had to go get my pants. The monkey stole my pants. I needed to go get my pants. So these guys ain't just fucking watching me walk around naked and shit. Fuck that. The Smoke, you can see he cracked a grin. He was like, don't fucking leave again. I was like, all right, cool. So I talked to my gunnery sergeant on the radio later, and he was like, monkeys. And I was like, hey, man, I was like, this is the first thing I thought
of. Like, for real, dude. I mean, of all this shit, that's almost as bad as, like, look at my neck. Look at my face. You remember that?
Yeah. Yeah, it was hilarious. That? It was hilarious.
Dude, do you even remember me telling you about look at my face, look at my neck? I had fallen asleep while on guard at the CP at the entrance to the FOB, to FOB Union 3. Yeah. And then you caught me sleeping under my fucking poncho or something. And then I was like, look at my face, look at my neck. There were too many mosquitoes, so I covered myself and I fell asleep. Look at my face, look at my neck. You actually clowned me for that shit quite a few times. Oh my God, dude.
Dude, I think we could do like a whole shoot the shit on just that deployment alone, man. Oh, we did a lot of stupid shit, man.
Fuck yeah, dude. Like when I shot the bus.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember that.
Dude, I still remember looking down and because we had Top Brenton with us at the time.
Yeah.
All I remember was like, stop, stop, stop. They weren't stopping. I was moving these fuckers this way. Bop!
Yep.
What the fuck was that? Warning shot. What you shoot? I aim for the grill. Dude, I swear to God, all I remember was everybody doing this and that one guy just collapsing forward. I was like, fuck. I had this nasty pain in my stomach, I swear. I would have talked to Landis about it afterwards. I don't know if he told you about it, but I had to go talk to him afterwards. That's weird. See, there goes that approachability coming full circle again.
Yeah.
I was able to talk to Landis about it, but you know, I mean,
that's dude, weird. And I recognize that, like now, just talking to you, man, I recognize it big time because,
but we didn't have any animosity towards each other. There was no hostility towards each other.
No,
you know what I mean? But I think it was just that because I respected your rank, I respected you as a person, and you know, that's really odd. You know, thinking hindsight, why didn't I feel comfortable enough to talk to you about it? You know,
I admit it, man. I was unapproachable. I was very unapproachable, man. And this is where a life lesson that I've learned, you know, even with my kids, man, sometimes I have to take a step back and, you know, and that's where I think I let a lot slide, but at the same time, I'm very firm. I'm very fair. And
Right.
even as a platoon sergeant, like, oh my gosh, dude, when I was a platoon sergeant, man, we were like the best platoon both times. We set standard on a lot of different things, but it was just I became very approachable,
Mm-hmm.
and the guys loved that, and that was just a lesson that I learned through Bragg, through Hood, through Afghanistan with 173rd, because I only served 173rd just to deploy.
Right.
I had to do an EF&P coming back, and on the first main body back, I was on that one, and I was cleared in PCS by the time the rest of the battalion got back. And then in Oklahoma with Fort Sill at the schoolhouse, then going to Alaska, deploying with them, then Fort Lewis ACRC unit, back to Fort Hood, so just a lot of different things where you take what you learn from each unit or each organization, each position, whatever, and you just keep building on yourself and keep creating yourself. But the biggest problem is that if you don't self-reflect, if you can't look in the mirror and say, you fucked up, that's where you're not going to be able to fix yourself, and I think that's just my opinion, but I do that every day. Yeah, I check myself every day because I have to check. If I'm going to check somebody else, I got to check myself too.
Right.
And that's where definitely that was my worst, with being approachable, and yeah, I don't like it, but we still did some good things. We did a lot of good things.
So, damn, your career has taken you to a lot of places. We're definitely gonna have to do a part 2 because we're already at an hour and some change, and we haven't even fucking scraped the tip of the fucking iceberg. But we still got some time here because I want to discuss a couple of more things. So came back over, done your fucking time. You're on your way out now, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, when you were in Alaska, did you go to Richardson or you went to Wainwright?
I was at Wainwright.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that was the leg unit, right? Not the airborne unit?
Yep.
Okay. Did you jump when you were in Germany at least? Or just got that jump pay?
No. I didn't jump because like I said, I was only there deployed. But a lot of things that people don't know about 173rd, and this isn't something that's bad talking them or anything like that.
Right.
Because I think it's at different times. When Felice was there, that Delta battery was the same as 442 thing or whatever when we were in 277. If you weren't DBAT, you weren't shit.
Right.
But a lot of guys that I had talked to that were in the DBAT or whatever, I was like, well, how many jumps do you have? And they would say like 9 or 10. And I'm like, dude, I only have like 20 something jumps, but out of that 20 something jumps, half of them are heavy drops. I was like, so I got more heavy drops than you have jumps, but you're talking shit, So it's just one of those things where it just depends. 173rd, they don't jump as much just because of the area that they're at.
Yeah.
They do airborne, all that stuff. They're very prestigious, high-speed unit. One of the best times in my career.
Yeah.
And I wore that patch for a long time. And when I was at Fort Sill, there's one they got associations and everything. And this guy would come in, he's like the only man in the room, and I'm like, whatever, man, get out of here. Just stuff like that. So I don't regret it. I love the unit, it was just in that, but it's just different times when we went. I was deployed, so I didn't get to jump with them.
Right. See, now, damn, I'm starting to think about my boy Cabrales. Cabrales was, right now we're talking about the fucking only 198 in the world, whatever. My boy Cabrales would say the same shit when I went to 277 in Fort Carson. That just clicked into my head right now because I'm hearing you talk and DBAT is the shit. And then I'm thinking about like, okay, that sounds like when airbornes talk shit about legs. Oh, airborne all the way, legs.
Well, here's the background on that 198 being the only free world. So you had 18 Airborne Corps, and then you have 82nd. Well, when I was at Bragg, 82nd only had 119ers. They didn't have the big guns. So 18 Airborne Corps had the big guns. So you had a battery, and Campbell said this too. You have a battery airborne, you had a battery of air assault, and then you had a battery of neither airborne or air assault.
Right, okay.
And then you had an MLRS battalion, and then that was the brigade. So that was the 18 Airborne FA Brigade.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is MLRS field artillery?
Yes.
Fuck that. I'll let that slide because you're still in.
Well, they're a part of it, but I mean, do they do field artillery? No, they're more deltas, man. they're not Bravos, they're not gun bunnies or anything like that, you know. But that's a different breed right there, man. If you ever met some 13 mics or anything like that, those people are different. They're just like fisters. Fisters are different people.
Oh yeah, yeah. They think they're infantry, man. Fisters think they're infantry. You know.
Yep.
Fuck.
But are they FA? You know what I mean? Like it's one of those things.
They want to claim
different part of field artillery or whatever, you know. So it's just one of those things. But
anyway,
so that's the whole background on how 198 was the whole, you know, the only
whole free world.
Again, restructure whatever. 82nd did get some 777s, and that's when the 198 phased out or whatever, this and that, you know. So whatever.
Did you get to fire on the 777?
I was a platoon sergeant with the 777.
Oh no shit! Did you ever fuck with the 119er?
I did.
I love the 119er.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'll tell you something. Going to artillery on this one. I love the Paladin, but it's not artillery. I'm sorry. I mean, it's artillery, but it's not real artillery. I didn't realize that until I went to fucking so when I got back from fucking Mosul, I found that I was going to 277 in Carson. So I'm like, oh fuck yeah. You know, I know the Paladin. I'm chiefing. I could easily go get a gunny slot over there, you know, because I know my shit, right?
Yeah.
Come to find out, they're on 119ers.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck me running. I had nothing about with the 119er. I had only done phase 1 and a B-knock, and I hadn't done phase 2 yet. So I think in phase 2 is where you go to the section chiefing part, right?
Yeah.
That's what they call it now, ALC?
ALC. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I had done phase 1. I hadn't done phase 2 yet. I had a school day for phase 2. But anyways, it was until after I got to the unit. But I didn't know shit about the 119er, man. So I get there and I had to humble myself. Like humble. I had to do it in Korea when I had a PFC fucking show me how to fucking initialize the gun. That was humbling there. Then I had to go to fucking to a 119er unit, and then I had to humble myself to a fucking specialist teaching me about fucking, this is going to sound fucking retarded, all right? I asked, why are we putting these markers around the gun? I had no idea about azimuth markers.
Yeah.
Because we never used them in the mechanized world. You know what I'm saying? So I see 3200, 64, you know, and I'm like, why are those there? And then until I found out about out of traverse and all that shit, once I started learning how to fuck with the 119er, bro, I gave up the Paladin, man. Did you ever fucking chief as a on the Paladin or no?
No. I was a platoon sergeant with the Paladin.
Ugh, garbage.
Yeah. So I only really chiefed on the 119er, and I was on all positions except for chief on the 198. I dabbled a little bit with the Paladin. I certified with all pieces when I was at Fort Sill.
Okay.
Because that's something that we had to do. We had to certify with every gun. And then I was a platoon sergeant. So I got promoted pretty fast. I was a E6 promotable at 8.5 years, I think it was.
Oh shit.
And I got promoted at 9.5, I think it was. So most of half of my career I've been sergeant first class.
So what did you do in SIL?
I was at the schoolhouse. I was with the captain's career course.
Okay.
And while I was there, it was only the lieutenants, the BOLIC part, basic officer leader course. They were the only ones shooting. So we started implementing the captains getting a part of the gun. Okay. So me being a 13 Bravo, the sergeant major was like, no, all 13 Bravos are going to certify, you know, this and that. So I'd go down there, I'd certify. When guys were going to not, like they had appointments or they were going to leave, because I was certified, I would go shoot with the lieutenants. I would go shoot with the captains, you know, this and that. And then I was promotable at that point. So I was learning, the aiming circle. Well, not learning, but doing the aiming circle and all that stuff. And, just still learning to, but you never stop learning,
Think about field artillery. It's a perishable trait. If you don't fucking practice it, you're going to fucking lose it. If you don't ASPT every so often, you're going to fucking forget how to do shit.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, I mean, that's one thing that I took up with me as a section chief. Anytime I got a chance, I would just get my section together. Hey, hook up the Humvee. We're going to, and the gun, we're going to go right across the street here. Occupy, 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 occupy.
Yeah.
I loved it, man. I fucking loved it. And to this date, I miss it. But when
Yeah.
I first got there, though, I had to swallow that fucking hard pill, that hard to swallow pill, and become a fucking ammo section chief. Oh man.
Dude, I've done that once, man. When I was at Fort Hood, I was doing
Yep.
that. And, it's just one of those things, man. It's got to happen,
Yeah.
But I got my own section. I have my own section, so I was able to do it, and that's why I didn't chief at the Paladin when I was there the first time at Fort Hood. But whatever. I mean, I've shot some rounds out of the fucking Paladin. I mean, yeah. I mean, I've shot rounds out of every fucking gun.
Right.
When I was in Afghanistan, dude, I was a section chief, gunnery sergeant, platoon sergeant, and the FOB mayor all in once for
oh my god,
a month straight.
Dude. Speaking about FOB mayors, he's gonna be coming on here soon. Our
Simpson.
old FOB mayor, Simpson. Yeah. He was supposed to come
hit
on.
Him up. He told me he was coming on. So, shout out to them. I'm really listening to that one. I want to listen to that one.
He was my FOB mayor when I was on extra duty, so he helped me out a lot on extra duty, especially being that we had fucking missions to run on at nighttime.
He was a great guy. He was a great guy.
Really good.
He was one of those because even though I was promotable, I was still sergeant at the time, E5. Mm-hmm. So I wasn't. I was borderline. Tank, Peterson, Weimert, what's Dufour, even second platoon, Campos, Griffin, Martinez, all those guys. They were all staff sergeants. Well, Martinez was promotable too. They were all staff sergeants and in chief positions. Mm-hmm. I was E5 promotable, and I was an ammo guy. Mm-hmm. So I hung out with the E5s because I was still E5.
Right.
But my peers were the staff sergeants.
Right.
So I was in the middle. But I talked to everybody. I wasn't one of those guys. I don't like to have conflict or anything like that. I learned that in my first unit. When you say no to a lot of things, you're not going to get something when you need it back. So it's just kind of one of those, in return or what type of things. But you don't get stepped on, but right. You got to help out your battle buddies because when you need the help, they're going to be there for you too. So, it was one of those things.
So as you're coming out of your career, after a long career with many fucking positions that you've held, what are what are you looking forward to first when you get out? Obviously, it's not shaving because you already done stopped doing that.
So right now I'm in a unique position. I think I've told this a couple of times. I'm doing project management, but all my projects already kind of ended. I've actually been quarantined in my room for since February, right before I had surgery. Then I had the surgery.
Right.
I had the convalescent leave. I went back to work. They said, no, we're teleworking, this and that. So I've been in my room, this whole time. And then I got into this program I just started this past Wednesday. Mm-hmm. I'm doing a Microsoft program. So I'm learning how to code and create databases and stuff like that. Lost in the fucking sauce, man. I'm lost.
I'll tell you what. I'm gonna bring back old Sergeant Juarez, what he would tell me. If I was in your position, if the roles were reversed, I could hear you telling me something along the lines, okay, so does AR 670-1 not apply to you anymore?
No, it does. It does.
So
it does.
Do you have a profile for that beard?
Hey, you know what I ended up purchasing along the line in my career?
What's that?
Those ACU gloves. I used to now I put my hands in my pocket too.
Hell yeah, dude. Oh man. That's great though. So you're getting yourself ready to come out here to the civilian world. And Microsoft, so you're dealing with IT shit?
Yeah, we're learning how to do cloud application development. And it's hard. I'm not gonna say it's easy. Mm-hmm. Especially coming from a 13 Bravo. Yeah. It's definitely hard, but this is one of the things that as I'm getting out, I'm learning a lot by myself. And through these last few months, it's been a progression too.
Right.
Going to, you're stressing, you're getting out. And I'm glad that I'm going through a lot of this while I'm still in and still getting paid, and not getting paid by civilian. And right. They're looking at me like I'm crazy because I can get, if I was with it, I've had to do this when I got here, mm-hmm. I knew I was going to transition out. So I had to tell myself sometimes, if you were in a civilian job, your ass would be fired,
Yeah.
And that's part of that checking yourself, and I've done that. So, but this last few months, it's been a mental progression type thing. Dude, you're stressing. You're not good enough for civilian world. You're not good enough for this. You're not good for that. But then you have to say, yeah, you are. You have to get back in there and build yourself up. So, but that's one thing that I'm looking forward to it when I get out is just not being institutionalized anymore. Being able to make,
quarantine.
yeah, well, yeah, but I mean, I can make decisions for myself if I want to fucking, let my hair grow out.
Yeah.
And dude, believe me, I know I'm wrong as fuck. I know it, but it feels good to do it. Just to kind of know that I'm on my way out and do this. I'm blessed. I'm in a certain situation where I can do this because I don't recommend it, and I do look back at some of my buddies and I'm like, damn, y'all doing this, y'all doing that. Like, not me. Like, I haven't done Army stuff for a minute.
Right.
When I got here the first year, it wasn't that we didn't do PT. We did PT on our own. It was big boy rules, and that kind of changed. I would set my alarm at 6:30 just to hear the flag go off on my bed.
Give me one quick second here, brother. What's up, baby?
Yeah.
What's up? I don't know, just a little bit of why. Oh, did you already order the food? Here. Okay, I'll be there in a minute. She's telling me that the dinner's here.
Oh, okay.
Whatever. That can wait.
She's like, hey.
Yeah, she can wait. She can go eat. I don't give a fuck. This is too interesting. So go ahead.
Yeah, so I would set my alarm at 6:30 just so I can hear the flag go off, because I heard one of my bad boys, he goes, yeah, man, that 6:30 flag is different when you're laying in your bed hearing that. So I was like, let me try this for a little bit. I was like, yeah, it does hit different. Because in the mind, you're like, I could be outside, but I'm not. But we still did PT on our own and everything. And then that kind of changed. We started going to PT in the morning and, doing all that. But, it's big boy rules, So we're briefing the Pentagon and some of the, our final outbrief are from the Pentagon. So I've gone to Pentagon a couple of times. That's coming from Aberdeen Proving Grounds going to Pentagon is like going from FOB Union 3.
Yeah.
Or Union 3 going to the embassy.
No shit.
The captain, I'm like, hey, man, I feel like I'm a deployment, man. And we're going somewhere big. I'm like, dang. I was like, you can always tell when somebody's living rough on a deployment because when they go somewhere else, they're just like this, looking around everywhere.
For real, dude. For real. You know, I had to tell a lot of people what our first deployment, I was in the IZ, but I just lived there. We didn't just stay on the IZ. Right. We fucking traveled, dude.
Yeah, we did.
God, I don't even know how many miles we logged, but we were on that fucking road forever, man.
Yeah. And and our platoon always got those missions, those hard missions, those unachievable missions, and we always achieved it. So it was just one of those things, man.
Dude, the one that scared the shit out of me, and I think it scared the fuck out of Smoke too, was the one where we were supposed to go to Butler Range the first time, and they found an EFP, the CAF scouts, they found an EFP on the road, and they were like, canceled. I'm like, whoo, praise Lord. I was happy that shit. I was not feeling that mission, man.
Yeah.
So speaking of which, I don't know if I ever told you. Did I tell you about the time that the PAS 13 died on me on Route Vernon?
No, but I think I heard that on one of your episodes. If you did say that, I think I heard you say that.
I had a fucker effect. Dude, you were like, do you see wires? I don't see shit. I was like straight. When we were rolling, I told Moyer to start going. When you told Moyer to start going left, he started going left. I just like, I swear to God, my asshole was puckered. Then when we passed, like, okay, we're good.
Yeah.
Woo, that was scary. So on your way out, Pentagon, FOB, I love the fucking the embassy swimming pool was the shit.
Yeah.
Dude, that was shit. So when you get out, I mean, dude, what are like some expectations you have?
It's crazy that you say that because and I heard y'all say this on the first, I think, when you did, I think it was either the first midweek memo with Kowalczyk, or it was very in the beginning of your episodes, that was part of the time when I was going through kind of like a mid-low. And let me tell you something, man. I heard you when you said you were at your all-time low when you were deployed over there. And, dude, that was a fucking amazing story, man, because just to admit that when you're at your all-time low is a strong point, because you're realizing something in your life is not right. And if you can overcome that, is the strongest fucking thing you can do. Because when I think I heard that, not when I think, I was kind of going, it wasn't my low, but it was a low. It wasn't my all-time low. I've been at a couple of all-time lows in my life, but it was a low, to the point where it was just like, holy shit, like, it's just kind of one of those epiphanies that it would just kind of hit you. Just like, yeah, you can do this, you can do better, So it just, I just started seeing myself, my mental grow, over the past couple of weeks, stuff like that. And it's just one of those things that, you got to get away from it and you got to, grow from it. But I'm ready to get out. I'm ready.
I bet, man. I don't doubt it. You spent your whole fucking, all your 20s and your 30s were spent in the military.
Yeah.
So, there's going to be, not like you didn't have a civilian job back then, but it's going to be a lot different, when you come out here. And I think you probably get like a lot of mixed messages from people. Some people say they struggle. Other people say that it's easy. Other people would say it's your mental. It is. A lot of it is your mental, and that's why I've been on this positive kick ever since Marquez started doing this positive kick, but what I say is be realistic with your expectations.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And, I think that's where a lot of people, that's why they get down on themselves.
Yeah.
They come out with expectations, thinking they're going to make $100K, or they've heard that this one person is making like fucking 80,000 a year right off the bat, Okay, got it, but those are one-offs, and then you're coming out in the middle of a pandemic. Are people going to be hiring? What's the job market going to look like? What's the, so those are all things that people have to take into account before they get out, and I mean, you definitely already have all the leadership skills that are needed out here. All you got to do is just translate it on which I'm sure you already know how to do. And if not, they will show you at ACAP how to, make it transferable to a civilian resume. Yeah. But what sucks about that is all of a sudden, you're either overqualified or you don't have that fucking degree. I don't know if you have a degree or not, but if you don't have that degree, sometimes a lot of people, they don't give a shit about that DD 214.
Yeah. So I do got a degree, but in the area that I'm at, everything that I have right now is functional.
Okay.
It's not technical. And in this area right here, they want technical. The money's good in this area for sure, but I don't have a technical skill. Functional is, how do I put it? Technical in this area is like being on the Paladin.
Okay.
Functional is like being on the cat, the ammo carrier. That's a functional part. So they're worried about the gun more than they are the cat. They don't care. They don't care that the cat carries all that extra ammunition.
Right.
They just carry about that 30 rounds or whatever it is that you put in the Paladin, and you're shooting. That's a way of putting it, where that's what this area is. So you got to be technical to kind of get that way. And that's where I kind of chose this Microsoft kind of thing, because I had a couple different programs. I had a couple different options, but I chose this one. And dude, day two, fucking, I'm surprised on what I kind of did. Like, I was messing with it yesterday. Yeah. But at the same time, it's just kind of like, whoa, it's a whole nother world. So yeah, that expectation is a different thing. Just a lot of things you have to look at as you go through it. Just kind of do your career or whatever, and just pull them skills out. A degree is just a piece of paper. In some jobs, it's not anything that that matters, but it's just the fact that you have it. You can check that blog, whatever. So
yeah, a degree, honestly, to me, is just bullshit. Because unless you have the experience to fucking back it up, it ain't shit.
Right.
I've had to fight that battle here at work sometimes, where they know I have the potential. They know that I have the skills. They know what I bring to the table. However, a lot of these people out here want that fucking degree. And it's a double-edged sword, especially for all these college people that go to school and then they come out to the civilian. I mean, they come out of school thinking that they're going to be making all of this money, but nah, dude. I mean, you don't have anything to back up that paper. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's
let me tell you this, that you brought up that, and that's a good point. And this is something that I learned in my first unit with one of my good friends, Raka. Let me shout out to you, Raka. I can't remember his first name. Great guy. He came in. He was I think a year after me or whatever. Very knowledgeable guy. He had like 4 credits to get his bachelor's. He did the Green to Gold program, got denied the first time because he didn't finish his goal of college. Finished that, went back and became an officer, right?
Right.
Well, me and him, we went out one time, we were just kind of just hanging out or whatever. And he had told me, he was like, Juarez, he had saw me, I'm a short guy. So when I'm jumping, you know, I have to do a little bit extra, you know, I'm vertically challenged or, you know, whatever, how they say it. So he was like, dude, I jump behind you all the time. And he goes, I love seeing it because you slow down before you get to the door, but not enough to slow everybody else down because I see what you're doing. You're preparing yourself because you have all this gear, you know, whatever. He said, you're preparing yourself to get that out of that door. He goes, and I just fucking love it seeing you jump out of that door, right? And then he goes, and this is where that dream comes from, that living the dream. He goes, you're living the college man's dream. I'm like, what does that mean? He's like, there's a lot of people in college that won't do what you do. Whether you're airborne, whether you're not airborne, whether you're in the military, that's what they won't do. They think about joining the military. They think about doing things like airborne, field artillery, infantry, or anything like that. They think about it, but they don't do it because they're stuck on, you know, going to college or whatever. And that's their choice. That's fine. Not knocking them for it or anything like that. But that's their dream. And he had lived that college life. He had done that. And he always told me. So I would tell you the same thing. You live that dream. You've done that other person's dream. And that's something that always stuck with me too, because a lot of this little nuggets I got in the first unit that I was at, and I carried a lot of that through, man. And that's what, you know, pushed me to do a lot of things.
Right on, dude. So how did you come up with the reasoning behind the podcast? How did you come up with Under the Net?
So, you know, about it was, I tell you, and you had something to do with that too. I remember when you were getting out, you had told me that you were struggling with, you know, talking to other people in your work and not relating, you know, and this and that. And now that I was getting out, I was doing the same thing. I was getting out. I didn't want to be in your shoes. Not saying that your shoes were wrong at that point or anything, because you had a job, you're being successful, but it was just the mental thing, the mental block. Right. I love being in the gun line talking, you know, while you're just there, just shooting the shit. Right. I love being at the office bullshitting, you know. There's a lot of times where me and Captain Miner, who was on the pod a while back, you know, we were done at like 1500, but we're just kind of digressing and just letting a lot of things go and just talking about all kinds of different things. The conversation will go from this to that, you know, whatever. Right. The office now, you know, I didn't have a job. Well, I did, but it was very minimum. I told everybody over there, I was like, I'm in an advisor row. So if you have any questions, ask me and I'll advise you, you know? Yeah. I did that myself because I was into IC, but I pulled myself out because I knew I was retiring. Okay. My boss didn't like it, but he understood it at the point, you know? He's like, you just freaking like resigned on your own. You know, you didn't even get no approval from me. And I was like, well, you kind of can do that, you know, when you get to this, you know, point. And I wanted to still stay connected. I wanted to still be, not that I missed, I mean, I'm going to miss the Army. I'm going to miss the camaraderie. I'm going to miss, you know, the conversations, but I wanted to just miss that. I didn't want to miss that. But also I heard a lot of people say, hey, damn, you know, you've done this, you know, you've done almost 20 years. You got your degree, you know, you've, you know, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, I'm just a simple guy. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of other people out there that's done way more than me, you know? I was like, so that combination came together and said, let's get everybody else's story out there. Because I'm not the only one that's doing things of what I've been doing. But there's a lot of guys that are doing a whole lot more. So I wanted to hear everybody. I wanted to get, you know, my family involved, hear their story. I want to get my friends. Because I did, like I met a lot of people, like, you know, and I'm kind of nervous sometimes about asking people to be on the podcast. I met my boss right now, really good guy, aviator, pilot. Dude, I give that guy props. He's got a lot of combat experience, man. Like, dude, this guy's been deployed so many times. Yeah. As a pilot, you know, he was a division chops, you know, stuff like that. Another guy, he was an ORSA guy, but he was a pilot as well. Mm-hmm. You know, so I'm working with all kinds of different guys, just even field artillery guys, infantry guys, you know, just whatever. Friends that I'm meeting, you know, stuff like that. I was just like, man, this is crazy. So that's where kind of the podcast came. I hit you up because I knew you were struggling with that in the beginning, and maybe that it might not have been struggling at that time, but hearing you talk in the truck, you have a lot to say. You have a lot to say. You have the words. You have an argument. You know this, that. Even in your podcast, I hear it. I'm just like, man, I don't think I would have been able to facilitate that conversation. You know, and I was like, so what you've done with the on the gun line was just more than what I could even think of. But that's where it just kind of pulled everything together, and I was like, that's where I was like, yeah, let's do this. So I went to the whiteboard. I had to put a couple names on the whiteboard, and I told everybody in my shop right now, I was like, what do y'all think? They're like, Undernet sounds good. I was like, that's where I'm gonna go with. So Undernet came about. Every time I feel like I want to give up because I'm not giving enough, somebody's like, no, keep that shit going. I'm just like, all right, cool. So I keep it going. That gives me that, the fuel, and I think it's just guest dependent. I asked all my guests out there that are coming on, hey, tell your story. Tell your story. Don't be afraid. It's a podcast. If you're still active, you can't say certain things, but don't be afraid, man. Just get it out there, because you've done a lot more things than you know of.
Right.
Sometimes you got to think about Campos.
Yeah.
He had to say the same thing. He's like, man, he goes, as the week comes, because I'll hit you up about a week prior, and he's like, I had to think about everything I've done. He goes, I wrote everything down, and it took me a couple of days just to write a lot of things down. Yeah, that's what he needs to do. Now, whether you scratch the whole surface or not, or whatever, you're still getting a part of your story out there. And he closed it out with a great thing. Was like, hey, this is everybody's chapter in your book. And I was like, boom.
That is fucking ass. Yeah.
Yeah. Boom. So, because my cousin always told me because I've gone through a lot of shit.
Yeah.
Divorce and just, a lot of different things.
Life happens.
You need to write a book. You need to write a book. And I was like, I ain't writing shit.
Some shit is best left unsaid.
Yeah. But then this was a way to kind of do it too. And I didn't think about, certain things, but the way Campbell kind of put it was just amazing. And it just all comes together. And everything does come full circle at the end or, eventually or whatever. So, yeah. I don't do this for money. I don't do this for pride. I don't do this for anything. I just do this just because I think everybody deserves to have their story put it out there. Just what you're doing, your midweek memos are for entertainment, your shoot the shits are for, the same thing.
Right.
This is nothing that is a competition. We feed off each other. Like I said, we talk all the time, in between, episodes.
Yep.
I've even told you, hey, that episode sucked. Tell me.
Right. No, it's a whole trip because, I was honestly, everything was going towards you and I doing it together. And when I asked you, so how am I supposed to do this? How am I supposed to do this, with you being in Maryland and me being in Texas? You were like, oh, well, you got to download Anchor. I'm like, okay. Because I remember I wrote down an outline of how I thought our podcast was going to be. And I had that segment under the, on the gun line. And it would be like shit that we would talk about on the gun line. So when I downloaded Anchor, it said that I had to give my own shit a name.
Right.
So, okay. So I'm following the instructions. And next thing I know, it says, okay, it's available. And then it says, congratulations, you got this going. And I was like, you know what? I was at work during lunch. And I was like, let's see what the fuck this shit's all about. Fuck it. And I was just in between time because you had to take time because some family issues had occurred and whatnot. So, and then you had the surgery. So I was just trying to kill time until you came along.
Yeah.
And then, life happened in between. You know what I mean?
No, absolutely.
And everything happens for a reason. And honestly, I think the dynamic with both of us would have been great, and it still would be great. But at the same time, I think we give people, with the different podcasts, different avenues to our content. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, it's the same content in a way, but with different
aspects or whatever. Yeah.
And also, with like yours gives you a lot of learning moments, a lot of teaching moments. Yeah. Mine gives you a lot of ha, let's laugh like a motherfucker, because yours, you want to get people's story, right? Me, with what I've been working on and how it's progressed, it's been one of those like, okay, I want to hear your story and see if the motherfuckers out there that are going through struggles can fucking relate to it. You know what I'm saying? Like with you, it's fucking great. I think it's beneficial, and I've heard a number of great things from your podcast, my podcast. I love it, dude.
Yeah, and that's the things that, I'm glad I'm hearing that, because you take a different aspect on it, and you're big on posting on social media and stuff like that. And dude,
Right.
I tell you, man, I'm amazed on what you've done with yours, and just the marketing, stuff like that. And that's something that I know that's my weak point. I got to work on. But I'm glad this is where that is going, and that was the whole intent. And I'm entertained with just yours. Even if I didn't have mine, I'm entertained with yours. So I'm glad people are getting entertainment out of mine, and and it's just going from there. And it's just it's something. And you know what? And we've had some spinoffs. We've had some spinoffs. What? And I say we because I think we're a team on this one.
Yeah.
But Marquez.
Yep.
And we don't take no credit for this, and we can't take credit for it. But he's got his own podcast. Lee Hunt is starting his own podcast. And we're somewhat of a spinoff from Silva's podcast.
Yep.
Because he gave me the push and said, do it. He didn't give me the idea, he gave me the push to do it. Right. Do it. And it was the same thing, that I told you, do it. Hey, I'm not, whatever. So, and I'm sure you've had a little handle on, Marquez and Lee, and said, hey, do it. Right. So there's podcast is a big thing. You can pause and play whenever you want to. Right. You don't have to listen to it right then and there. And that's something that, as we do this, something that we have to learn too, is like, well, I only got 5 views.
How many times? Yeah, dude, I feel you on that. Yes.
But then later you're like, oh shit, I'm at 18. Like, when did that happen?
Exactly. It's funny because then you start analyzing like what days you have more viewership or listenership,
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, one of the things, one of the benefits that I found with this podcast, and I don't know if it's the same for you, but for me, it's I tell people, to me, I'm like selfish with it now, because this is a benefit for me as well. Because I don't have, like we stated, we don't have anyone to speak with in the civilian life that understands us.
Yeah.
And through here, we understand each other. And it's also another way to maintain communication with those that we haven't spoke with in a while. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I haven't talked to Cruz since fucking I left 277, but yet I had him on the podcast. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then let's just say there's a lot of people that have heard a lot of other voices from our old unit. They're like, oh, man, I was wondering how that person was doing. You know what I mean? So this platform has assisted that. And I mean, it's great. It's fucking awesome. And I thank you for that, man. I mean, if it wasn't for you to at least, you woke me up that morning, I'm like, fuck it, why not? And next thing I know, I'm already fucking writing shit down. Like, all right, what are we gonna do?
Hey, your wife probably hates me for that, but and I apologize. but to add to that, like even Sanchez's podcast last weekend.
Great.
Yeah, just hearing, from beginning to end, and then you hit me up afterwards, and that was the same thing I was thinking. And he even asked me too. He's like, "How do you think I've changed?" I'm like, "Holy shit, dude! Like, I wasn't expecting that question, but to answer it, it was just like, whoa." And that kind of like summarizes what you said, but also just, and I got to say this to all the listeners out there, even if you want to be a guest, hey, if you want to be a guest, hit either one of us up. That's fine, because we'll gladly put you on the schedule. Just be patient, because we have a schedule, and it's not that, hey, I could ask you right now. I could ask a lot of people right now, hey, you want to be a guest? Okay, I have to put you on the schedule for December, right, or this, that. And that's one of those things where we say just be patient, because we'll get to that, as we get time off or whatever, and plug you in. If we could have everybody on here, because as you talk to somebody, then somebody else comes up and they're like, oh, you should put them on there. Absolutely. I'll put them on there. I don't have no issues with it, whatever. But then I have to say, hey, you want to be on the podcast? Okay, next year, so like that. So it's just one of those things. Hey, this is just a process. And, eventually we'll have to stop at this year and start another season. Cause like I said, I'm at like 19. I don't know what you're at.
Right.
So it's just growing. It's getting bigger. Share it as much as you can, because even if just that story, and that's one thing I noticed too, what guests you have, how much they market, that episode or whatever, also brings in other, viewers or listeners or whatever. So just share it, get some entertainment, use it as you drive, use it as you work out, whatever, different times, plug and play. You don't have to listen to the whole thing, but as soon as you hit that play, we get that says that, you listen to it. Lopez here. He's got Anchor. He's got Spotify. He's got Apple. He's got YouTube. You know, you don't have to listen to all of them. You know, listen to one of them.
Right. Well, the reason I went to YouTube was because I ended up hearing that a lot of people, they shy away from podcasts because they can't really see the expressions and shit like that. So when I heard about it, that's when I was like, nah, fuck it, I'm gonna try this YouTube shit. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I was scared shitless, man. But now it's like I think about it like this. It's kind of like when you first get on the mic, you know, and you're on a you know, and on the radio. It's kind of like that. Once you pop that cherry, though, a la verga, vámonos, you know?
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
It's been great. So, I mean, that's awesome, dude. Yeah, it's funny. Like, I asked the guest over, and if anybody wants to come on, hit me up on the gunline@gmail.com or hit up Sergeant Juarez at
under the net at gmail.com or on social IG, Snapchat or Facebook. It's all the same thing. Patrick Juarez.
On Snapchat.
Or if you know, dude, whatever. You know, I got some friends that are on Snapchat, even though I don't post it. I got some on IG and I got some on Facebook, you know, so whatever.
Well, you got a motherfucking grandpa here on Snapchat. What the fuck?
Hey, you know, it's crazy because I even have a TikTok. But I don't post nothing on. I put on there. I'm only here to watch. That's my entertainment. That's what gets me, you know, laughing or whatever. Even if you don't know me, hit Lopez up. He'll hit me up. Like that's how we had a couple of guests. We talking like, hey, you should put him. And that's how he got Frank on there.
Yep.
He told me about that one girl, Liz. I gotta hit her up. I just haven't.
Hit her up, dude. Yeah, I mean she's down.
No, I want to. I want to have her on. Yeah, it's just one of those things. Yeah, definitely, man. But this has been a ride.
It has.
It's been fun. Each one is different depending on who it is or whatever, but it's still something that you know you're gonna get, you know, some entertainment from or whatever. Hopefully.
What's funny is, man, is that a lot of people, they tell me like, oh, nobody's gonna want to hear my story or anything I gotta say. Like, dude, yes, they will. There's a lot when people start talking and they get diarrhea of the mouth. Dude, there's a lot of things that you don't know about yourself until you start talking, and it just becomes so much entertainment, dude.
Yeah.
So, holy shit, we're coming on 2 hours. Damn, man, this is definitely.
I think that was kind of being expected. I mean, just having two guys, you know, the podcast on there, and dude, we were excited about this, like, you know, since we've had it on. You know,
we started this shit.
Yeah, but then even like knowing that it was coming up, we knew it was going to be exciting, you know. So it's
you know what? Before we close out, did you want to discuss that giveaway thing, or you want to do that on a midweek memo? Because just for those that y'all don't know, we have Sergeant Juarez will be a guest in the midweek memo here coming up on Wednesday with Mr. Frank Felice as well.
Yeah, so we'll talk about it now, and then we'll talk about it on the midweek memo as well. You know, Lopez, like I said, he does a little bit more marketing than I do. He had a giveaway. I figured, I was like, well, I'm gonna let him market, you know, and it's not me being lazy. It's just this is just something that, like, hey, I'm a single dad, so I'm trying to do as much as I can when I can. Yep. But I'm not promoting just mine, because I want to promote his as well, podcast. So definitely there's a giveaway. I have it right here, actually. Eventually we'll do this. I don't know. We got to work the details out, but I want to give this away, you know, to one of our loyal listeners or just listeners, whatever. And we'll work out the details, you know, to pass that on or whatever. I paid for that out of my pocket. It's not anything that, you know, whatever. This is an advertisement for both for our podcasts.
Yeah, dude, that is fucking awesome right there. Yeah. You know what? If y'all want to hear more details about that, you will definitely have to listen to the midweek memo to get more details. And then to get even more details, you got to listen to Under the Net podcast. That's the only way you're going to find out if you win, Chief.
And I'm growing as I get into podcast too. Like I shot out one of these guys that was singing, you know, this and that. So I'm learning. I learn from Lopez just as much as he learns from me.
Yes, sir.
It's a give and take. This is a great platform. This is a great avenue to let some things go. Great avenue to get your story out. Great avenue to just learn about yourself as well.
Dude,
just like I did today. I was unapproachable when I was at 277, but I was approachable everywhere else. That was wrong on my part as the leader.
It wasn't wrong. It wasn't wrong. I'll tell you why. Because think about it. If we want to go back in hindsight, full circle, how old were you?
23.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? How many 23-year-olds are put in a position where you're in charge of the lives of young men or older men than you? And, you know, so it's not, it's a learning curve. You know what I'm saying? It's not like if at this age, what you know now, then, you know, stepping into those shoes would be a lot more easier.
Absolutely.
Than now. So you got to think, I mean, you handled it with fucking grace under fire, man. You did well. I mean, shit, you brought us all back home alive. You brought us all back home alive, even though I fell asleep in that hatch a couple of times. Hey, Lopez, you see that? No, I didn't see nothing. Fucking tracers. Oh, man, good times. Any shout-outs you want to give up before we cut this shit out, man?
Hey, man, just a shout out to just, man, like really just a shout out to all your listeners, all my listeners. We really couldn't do this without y'all. Even if it's 5, even if it's 4, depending on the episode, like I said, you know, I've got some mine and yours, the first one, highest one I've had. I'm in the 90s of listeners for mine and yours.
Right.
But I have some that are like 3, 5, or whatever. So it does take the listeners to make this grow. I do see an increase of people, you know, trying to get involved and whatever, but it's just one of that patient thing. You know, to get you on the schedule. If we could, we would do one every day and then do this every day. But there's a lot of behind the work, you know, whatever. I do recommend, if you want to do a podcast, do it. If you have any questions, we'll help you out or whatever. We've gone through some struggles ourselves we were talking that right before this. How we started to now, you know, this, that, and we're not even 100%, you know, where we need to be. So I do want to shout out to all the listeners. Y'all give us feedback. Y'all help us out, and y'all keep us going, you know, at the same time. Shout out to on the Gunline, and then shout out to Coach Silva Podcast, man.
Oh my God, I have no muscles. God damn. There they are, somewhere down there. Yeah, baby, there you are. I got a lot more belly than that, though.
Hey, we call that Cinderella fat.
Why is that?
At midnight, it turns to dick.
Oh, you just reminded me of one more thing I wanted to talk to you about.
What's that?
Your 4th general order. You remember that one?
I'll walk the beat, I'll beat my meat, and I'll fuck everything within 15 feet.
Yeah. Dude. Oh my! I remember hearing that shit the first time out there in Baghdad, man. I have never forgotten that shit. I have never forgot that shit.
That's what kind of leader I was.
That's right. Dude, it's been great having you on here. We definitely got to have you on again. Man, it's been too fucking long. Dude, this was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
All the listeners out there, I appreciate y'all sticking with us for the last 2 hours. I hope we provided you some good entertainment. And just know that we barely even scratched a little bit of this man's career in our deployment. I mean, it was a lot of talking back and forth, hopping in between, but we hope we entertain y'all. That being said, he will be with us again on fucking Wednesday with Felice, who happens to be his homeboy, and that was my homeboy, you know, and shit, now we're all homeboys. I'm gonna have myself a little fucking threesome here. Ciao. Anyways, so you're gonna have a fucking a Mexican, a Central American, and an Italian. Holy shit, we just need a Jew and a black, and we'll be all good to go. Diverse completely.
Party.
All right, man. Hey, with that being said, y'all, I appreciate y'all being here. Oh, before I hang up, though, before I give it up, my bad. I do want to shout out this one. Her name is Shannon, and she has this project. All right, and basically, it's called the Happy Bean Project, and it's a nonprofit coffee. Okay, let me read this. Okay, the Happy Bean Project is a nonprofit coffee project. All profits and donations fund coffee events. Our team of volunteers go to homeless shelters, mental health facilities, and the streets to make coffee for people in need. Though through coffee, we are able to show those in need that we care about them, giving them hope, a person to talk to while they're sipping their coffee. We also make hygiene and care kits to donate while during this pandemic. So check this out, man. Just a quick back brief on her. This chick, Shannon, she's not just average day chick, all right?
Yeah.
She's actually the first female field artillery section chief in the United States Marine Corps. You know what I'm saying? That is fucking high speed. And she should be, I'm not counting, but I don't know if I should put this out, but she might be coming onto the gun line here. Not sure just when, but she might be making an appearance on the gun line. Anyways.
If we don't make it on the gun line, put her on under the vent, man. We'll definitely have her. That's amazing, man.
That's an amazing story. I would love to hear her story. And not only that, but just the project that she's funding here. Hey, y'all, do me a solid, man. Go out there, go to the happybeanproject.com. If you can give, I know we're in a pandemic right now, but some of us are in, in positions where we could give money or, go spend a couple of bucks on beer. Just put it aside, man, and see if you could send it out to the Happy Bean Project. Just you never know if you ever might be in that position or any of our battles are in that position. You know what I'm saying? So I just think it's a great thing that she's doing. Again, thehappybeanproject.com, www.thehappybeanproject.com. Go ahead and check them out, man, and let her know that the On the Gunline podcast sent you. Now, with that being said, it's all you.
Rounds complete. End of mission. Smoke out.
Click.